Hang on a second.
Hey, Mark.
Hey,
So we've been looking at some September numbers here, and what are you thinking?
well, I did a couple exercises and we chatted before, but anyway, what I'm seeing is kind of shocking compared to other months, going back 3 months. If we look at September sales right now, as the minute we're doing this video podcast on September 29th at 3:15, currently have 119 sales in the book for September. Last year at this time, we had 304 sales recorded on the books. It's a 61% drop in sales from September 23 to September 22. Another alarming issue is we've seen a lot of people listing in September. And I'm not all negative, but I'm going to get out the negative first. With all the inventory so far that is sold in September, 73% of the listings are not selling. That's alarming number. Only 27% have sold. And we will go through as we progress on the video today with the breakdowns and price points to let the audience know what areas what areas and price ranges are selling, and what areas have the most inventory and why they're not selling. But that's an alarming figure right now. Am I fully bearish on the market? Not convinced yet, because September was a great month weather-wise. Maybe people just extend those activities. I'm golfing more, I'm out paddling more, you're doing whatever more. Kids are back to school, kids have hockey, kids have volleyball, organized sports are starting up. Let's see if some of that numbers shift in October, November. But if we keep seeing listings coming on and on and on, then I will go bearish. But I'm not sold on bearish just yet. Even though
This year, or 2022 in September, there was 304 sales, right? Mm-hmm. 2022 in October, there was 260. So September actually was better than October. And in COVID in 2021, there was only 49 sales in September. But as we know, we were all in lockdown.
Correct.
But then in October, there was 394. So it caught up, right?
Right. So
basically what happened, there was 400 in the 2 months. You know, it was probably the pent up buyers from COVID that came back in October and finally bought because lockdown loosened up, right?
Yeah, and yeah, that could be one. Yeah.
Yeah. But the issue that I seen over the numbers I look is that normally October is last few reporting periods anyway. October is less than September.
Well, that's where I'm not convinced yet on that. And I find October I see a shift in my business as weather changes. I see it in the spring, warm sunny days, the phone rings, March, do a few CMAs, come over, a few visits, and then April my business starts to take off. Fall, yeah, a couple calls, and then as soon as the weather dies down and gets cooler, then I seem to get busier. And it's the same way this year has been for many years. But that's my business. Your business could be a little bit different. I'm going on my business, but if we don't get some of this inventory sold in October, then I'm concerned. Then I'm kind of going, wow.
Yeah, and I'm doing a lot of showings right now, and I have buyers, and I mean, stuff is not moving. And all the agents that I'm talking to, they're not even getting showings. And if you want to go into a little bit on the higher price ranges, because that's a joke right now. And even the new listings, most of them are in the higher range that I'm seeing.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Since we're talking about, let's just give everybody the numbers in the audience now, the numbers, and then we can debate some things and go in. So let's start with the highest numbers, because that's an area that we closely watch. So when we talk higher numbers, we're talking $1 million and up. Currently, there's 535 listings on the Barrie Real Estate Board. 164 of those listings are over $1 million. That accounts for 31% of the inventory currently listed. That's a big number.
That's huge.
It gets better. So far in September, we have seen 16 solds between $1 million to whatever, could be up to 2 million, million five, whatever. We go over those categories. That is only 2.83% of September sales. Small, 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 small. If we look and if we dig deeper into those numbers, out of that 164, that's 9.75% of the listings are selling in that higher range.
That's
So
horrifying.
it's horrifying. Where in June, July, August, even August, we've seen a trickle down, July a little bit, but May, June, July, that was double digits. Now it's going down, right? It seems, I think last month it was around, I don't know, 12 or I don't want to say the number because I'm not 100% sure, but we've seen a real decrease in that amount. And let's be honest, we know why. There's, look at the Bank Canada. Yes, they paused, but they still create a lot of fear right now, a lot of doubt in people's mind. We've had multiple increases. That's in a hard range to qualify. That person that's qualifying's got to qualify 8%. Who in the hell salary can accommodate that? And that's could be with two people working.
Well, listen, and not only that, Mark, that's with people putting $400,000 or $500,000 down. If you're buying at 1.2 or 1.3, even if you put $400,000 or $500,000 down, you have a $700,000 or $800,000 mortgage. You're talking $6, $7, $8,000 a month.
Stupidness. It's stupid, and
that you have to qualify for. They can't qualify. Nobody can qualify for that.
Oh no, it's real hard. And I did some work for a client on some things. So I spent a lot of time this morning looking at the listings that are over $1 million, because that's where these ranges are for her properties. And there's a lot of product that is overpriced still in that 1 million to 1.1, 1.2 range. There's a ton of product out there. I saw some listed properties today in Arda, almost 1.2, 2,000 square feet. What? And dated. What?
And dated.
Not gonna happen. Really, that's a 950 to 970 at best. 950 is the right number for that property, not 1.2. And it's been sitting, it's sitting and sitting. There's a lot of inventory out there that's sitting and not turning over. When we did the exercise last month, we noticed that 38% of the inventory was relisted properties. How much is it now? Maybe 50. I didn't do those numbers today, but that's a scary amount. And I think if people don't get into where the market is today, good luck in selling that $1 million property. But some sell, don't get me wrong, but they're in niche areas where people want to be, and there's not a product in.
Well, the other issue that I've seen too is that when I was doing the exercise last time, was that a lot of the people had paid, they had bought it within the last 2 years, and they had paid a really high price.
Yeah, 100%.
So they can only go so low.
100%. To that point, I saw one on Greenwich. Beautiful property. Oh, loved it. Bought it last year for 1.2. They sold it for $1,173,000 this month, sorry. So 25 grand hit off the bat, 5%. You're 100K. You lost 100K. It's a lot of money.
Well, and as long as you put in enough money, like if they put $500,000 or $600,000 down, they can kind of bite the bullet. But if you only put 20% down, you're toast now, because
maybe. Yeah, I agree, depending on the income levels, but there probably could have also people going, holy cow, how long are people going to get sick of paying, on a property like that we're talking about? The mortgage could be 5K, could be 6K. And they're going, we're eating craft dinner. When do we say enough is enough? And we get out, we lose 100 grand and we can go buy something and, maybe for 8. Yeah, it's not going to be this place, but we're not going to be paying 6K a month.
Well, some of them, it's they're losing more than 100 though.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Some are. This was really nicely done. Like, I
know that's true. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Gorgeous houses.
Right. So that was an example that just jumped in my head. So we are going to continue to see that higher range take continuing beatings until we see a shift in rates, or an area like, I don't know, Crimson Ridge, where it's priced decently, or Blue Water or Royal Park, whatever. Some
But you
areas
know
like
what, Mark? It's funny because I've been showing in the lower ranges, well, between 7 and 8, and they're not doing anything either.
well, okay, let me go over that number then. I'm gonna jump over, but let's just go over it. So we did a million and over. Let's go to 7 and 8. Okay. So in the 7 to 800 range, 100 active listings accounts for 18% of the available inventory today. There was 32 solds that account for 6% of the sales in September. 32% of listings are selling. What are the other 68% doing? Nothing.
It's still bad.
So bad, but when we look at September, everything is going to look horrible no matter what right now, right? Looking
Yes.
at these numbers. So I don't want the audience to go and think that, oh my God, it's doom and gloom and we need to sell like tomorrow or we're dead in the water. No, we need to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 months. As soon as the snow flies, things slow down, right? But the key months is going to be October and November.
You know what I think though, Mark? I think like I have clients calling to sell and I have listings that are getting no showings. And my thing is, it's not a good time to sell.
Not September. We need a shift in the weather, right? I
We
think
need to see some kind of uptick before, because putting more on the market and,
it's going to make the numbers even worse.
yeah, it just makes it worse for one. And another thing is, I've done quite a few showings at the $5.99 and $6.99 where they were withholding offers.
Mhm.
Nobody had a bidding war.
Yeah. It seems like September wasn't the month. And what I saw in September, within a matter of days, when I'm looking at the listings going, 333, 335, 340, and the following week went to the moon, went up to high fours, then fives. And then now we're at 535. And that number isn't coming down because there's no sales to bring that number down.
I know. And all the agents I'm talking to, when when you do showings and people are asking for feedback and even just friends in the industry, everybody's like saying this is horrible. They're not getting showings and it doesn't even really matter the price. Like,
no, the numbers show it. The numbers show it for the sales for September right now. They show it. This is like a bloodbath if this comes out. Well, it will come out in the stats. It will look terrible, but we got to see past that yet, though, right? I mean,
I don't think it's all doom and gloom either, but I think part of the problem is, do you remember, and I'd love to go back and find the podcast where we were discussing how we're not going to feel the actual effect of these increases for months, because people get mortgage approval up to 120 days at the lower rates.
Mhm.
Well, now there's none of those people left, right? They're all high rates now.
Higher rates, and they have been for a while with the progression. Yes.
So now are we now feeling the effect of everything like, I think we might be, because I remember, everybody's saying, when they were increasing it so fast and hard that, and another thing is some of the banks aren't allowing you to do blended rates now.
Yeah, because they're probably getting greedy. That's why.
You used to be able to. Last year, they were allowing like a blended rate mortgage. Some of them, no, we're not doing that anymore.
They want it all.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know. All I know is I found it shocking because I felt like August was slow, but I figured September, normally August is always kind of slow.
It is, but I'm going to pull up another stat and get before keep talking away. I'm just going to pull up.
Yes, and I figured that in September I saw an influx of listings, right? So when you see an influx of listings, your initial reaction too is, well, there's buyers too. Like if I'm selling, I got to buy, right?
Right.
But a lot of people are not buying. And a lot of people that are selling right now, a lot of sales we've been into, they're vacant houses. So when my client actually went into a house the other day, we saw 7 in one day, or sorry, 8. We power shopped.
Yep.
And we walked into one. She goes, "Oh, someone actually lives here?" Like, all of them we're going into, Mark, are either estate sales or I don't know what's going on, but they're vacant.
Maybe they bought, maybe they rented out, whatever, right? But I've seen some vacant homes too. And you see them on the board sitting there, and I'm going through the listings today and seeing more of it too. I just don't think that it's a funny time for September because we're not
But it's
used
people
to
that has to sell.
have to sell or just said, but maybe the realtor said, hey, you know, wait, let's all wait. Don't sell in August right now. Wait till the kids are back at school for a week and then we'll do it. And that's what happened. Everyone
Yeah.
just flooded the market with inventory. But Jesus, September's been a great month for weather, like dynamite. I don't know, we've had a great summer. I just, September's a busy month for people. I'm not reading too much into it yet because I can't see that big of a drop within 30 days. Let me see 3 months of that or a quarter of that, then I can make a better guidance of it. But right now, I'm just not willing to say that the market's totally shit yet because I just don't believe that. But
listen, I'm showing in Toronto right now. I'm showing in Toronto right now. And they're doing a lot of withholding offers. Everything's at 9,999, and they're getting the offers. Last week there was 14, and they got 175,000 over.
Right, but that's not working up here on 9,999 properties because
it's not even working at 599. Because I've been showing 599s. It's not even working at that, Mark. It's not. But in the South, it is kind of working.
Yeah, and look at the demographics too. Look at the population too, right? I mean, it's pretty big. We got millions down there. We have 150,000 in Barrie, but I don't know.
But is that gonna, like, I always found that in times of trouble, that Barrie actually does okay. And the reason is because if I'm in trouble down in Vaughan or Richmond Hill or Brampton, then I can sell there, get 8, 9, a million and a half, and buy here way cheaper.
100%.
So we usually see people migrating here because it's cheaper.
Yep. And then that will never change. But let me look at, so I pull up August numbers here, and I just want to look at, so for August, there was 192 sales in 2023, and in August 2022, there's 175. So a 9.71%. So more sales this August compared to last August. I mean, average price was up this year in August 23 versus August 22, up 0.59. So let's just call it flat. So prices necessarily are not dropping. Sales figures for September looks like shit. Right? And when that happens, most people get really nervous and really fearful and going, oh my God, I need to list. We need to put in the market like yesterday. I read an article that sales are dropping 30%, or I watched your podcast and things are down 60%. They just need to understand that we don't have the data right now where the average, and I don't love using average sale, but for this scenario, it suits it because it's not dropping. We're not seeing things drop in prices yet. We're seeing an influx of inventory right now that potentially could drop the market a bit if it doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I was shocked when I saw the August numbers because being in it, I felt like not much was going on. It felt like the market was slow.
Right.
And then I'm waiting for September. I see an influx of listings, but I don't see them selling. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I thought August was slow. I think September's going to be worse.
Way worse. Right. We're at 119 in August. I flipped my emails.
It's September 29th. We have 1 day left.
I know that's the thing. Like September was way slower than August. Let's look at the $600,000 to $700,000 range. 66 active listings. So we know there's 535 on the board. 66 of them are priced from 6 to 7. It counts for 12% of the available inventory on the board. The sales were 29. Counts for 5.13% of the total sales for September. 44% of those listings are selling. So 50, I can't do my math. 66 are not selling.
Now, that's still better than every other price group.
It is. It
Right?
is, right? It's
It
getting
is.
and that's the most active range that we see in our community today, right? Again, I backed out the conditionally solds on there as well. In that group, we're seeing a lot of price, $5.99. Meanwhile, the house is worth $8. So, that number could be a bit skewed, but again, I'm not surprised at the low sales because of the way the September numbers are.
Yeah, and it's still the best of the worst.
It is 100%. I wish I had 10 of those listings because they sell any day of the week.
Yeah.
Like they just do.
Well, at least you have a chance.
You got a chance, and I'm going to jump over just because I'm thinking of a property that came to my head that I saw today that sold on Dun It for $999, and they got $1,050,000. I'm going $1,050,000. Are you crazy? So as I went through the pictures, man, the main level was just dialed right up. Stunning. I don't love the street. I don't love the backyard, but that main level, they did it to perfection. So there are those buyers out there that are in those higher ranges that want all the upgrades, want that open floor plan in there, new flooring, new counters. I'm telling you, just a stunner, total stunner.
Well, you know what the problem is, Mark, and I found this even a couple years ago during COVID. The issue becomes when there's so much on the market, I can choose now. So
100%.
now, if there's 100 and whatever listings at $1 million, I have a big choice.
You have a big choice.
I'm going to pick the beautiful one. I'm going to pick the one that's dialed. I'm not going to pick the one with old cedar cabinets and old countertops and laminate. I'm not picking that. Why would I?
Well, 158 of those are out of the 164 in that group.
Yeah.
Just like them. Great areas, but old oak cabinets, oak staircases with carpets, like just outdated bathrooms. And then you put a Greenwich or you put even a Dunnet there and it sells fairly quickly. People don't want to, because the cost involved to renovating it, man, now you got another $150K worth of money to be spent.
And if I can buy one that's already done and it's already gorgeous, why am I going to do that?
Yep. I agree.
Like during COVID, when inventory was really, really low, the thing was people were buying anything, because you didn't have a lot of choice.
You didn't.
Now, you got lots of choice.
I agree. Any other comments on that 6 to 7 range? I really don't, other than, we've talked about it before. It's a hot range. It's always going to be in demand. And in these higher rates, it's always going to sell. It just doesn't reflect like that in September. But
well, I think right now all the sales are down. So
yep.
Every rate. Yeah.
Strongest range.
Buyers sellers are there, buyers are not.
100%. So the 8 to 9 range, 85 active listings, counts for 19% of the total inventory. 21 sold for the month, counts for 3.93% of September sales. 24.7% of the listings are selling. 75% of them are not selling. So there's your second highest range. We saw is that the second? We did 6 to 7.
Yeah, 8 to 9, and then 9, it would be 9 to $1 million, right?
Right, 9 to $1 million, but 22%, yeah. So a decent range, and we're still seeing a lot of those 8 to 9 properties sell fairly well. I am. But that won't reflect in this month.
No, it's still 75% of them are still sitting there.
100%.
And it's very, very difficult when you have the listing and you're talking to your clients, because like we put it on, social media, and it's on realtor.ca, and you do open houses. Even if you drop the price by 50,000, it's not going to do anything.
Oh, no. Your best, for those that have waited, kudos to you, because as we know, That's just a new listing comes on, it hasn't been listed before, we run to it, right? We look at some other stuff, or maybe we haven't looked at it, or the buyers haven't looked at it, but just seeing anything new on the board, we send out to our people, right? And meanwhile, we look at some other inventory that we've sent out and they didn't bother for whatever reason. It's going to be interesting to see, what October does with some new
Well,
product.
what's funny? I was just talking to an agent this afternoon who said his client's budget is a high price range. And
Yeah.
he said, I've been looking with them for 6 months and every one there's problems. He goes, nothing is to their liking. They find issues with every single one. And he said, I'm trying to explain to them, like, if you get 80 to 90% of your wish list, you're doing good. Like, you can't expect
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've been having the same problem with some buyers, right? Like, I don't know what people think, but before it was like, oh, well, we'll just fix this up a bit, or we'll do this a bit. Now they want it done. They want what they want. They're not buying just anything. They're picky.
No, they're picky. And they have some inventory, especially in this month, to be picky with. And the stuff that has the bells and whistles, or has the right stuff done. And yeah, we don't mind painting the bedrooms if they're orange, but the kitchen's great, or the bathrooms are great. Hey, no big deal. We're all in. But the stuff that's not, and there's a lot of product in every category of price ranges, that most of it needs a lot of updating. We're not a community where we have, subdivision after subdivision new. That's long gone. So we're seeing a lot of these homes, showing a lot of these homes that are 20 plus. And let's be honest, most of them aren't updated. Most of them are the same with a bit of touch-up paint. So they try to clean them up, and then just going, why did you do that for? But they don't show well.
Yeah, like Greenwich is one that's a newer build and a new, but in Barrie, there's no more land anymore. So everything is a back-to-back townhouse. Everything is a stacked townhouse. There's no beautiful new build. So everything is, you're right, everything's older, and most of them are not updated.
Most of them are not updated. I don't think, did we cover off the 8 to 9? Yeah,
yes.
we did that one. 7 to 8 we covered off.
Yes. What we didn't cover off was, do you have 9 to $1 million?
Yeah, we did cover that. We covered no, we didn't cover that off. Good. Okay. Yeah. So 9 to $1 million, 62 active listings, counts for 11% of the total inventory on the board. September sales were 14, accounts for 2.47% of the sales for September. 22.5% of the listings are selling.
Well,
So
it's not horrible, but again, it's not good.
It's not good, and nothing's going to be good in this
month. No,
this video, that's for sure. But you know what? It's pretty damn close to the 8 to 9 range.
Yeah,
those ranges are pretty almost in inventory levels. They're pretty close, and they're selling pretty close to where they are. So
what's scary though is when you think about it in a different way. If I told you a quarter of the listings are selling,
if we walked into a listing presentation to say those words to people, their jaws would drop. Right? If we sat there and said, "Hey, we want to push play on this video for 40 minutes, and there'll be our listing presentation," they just go, "What the hell happened?" Really?
I know a quarter of them are selling.
Right.
So now when I list your house, our chances are not that great.
They're not that great. But then let's spin it around. How can we, as a home seller, how can we make it better? Well,
update.
Let's go through the things that are not selling, and let's go through the product that is selling, and let's have a conversation. Yeah. That's what they need to do. And you and I both know, we both done projects and flips and all that. You don't need $10 million to update your house. You may have 25K. You can go a long way in some certain areas to make maybe the main level look a lot better, depending on the home, etc. But bang, or do it. Or maybe it was a lot of looking through listings today for a couple hours of product. No decluttering, shit pictures. Like, I mean, the worst of worst on many of them. Some with snow in them. Something, and it's a fairly new listing. He put it with snow in the front yard, in the back. It was back in EP, not even a picture of the backyard. I'm looking, it says EP, but I can't make sense of it because he's looking out the the back window and I just see the screen. So, but people can do different things and declutter, get the staging, update some lighting up. There's things to do to make your property stand out over the competition. Because right now, looking at September, there's a lot of goddamn competition out there.
Oh, there is. And if
Oh,
you don't stand out at all, you don't have a hope in hell.
You don't. And that's what has to get through people's heads today to do it. And I know they don't want to, but the smart ones are doing it. And if you're serious about selling your home, you're going to have to bite the bullet and do something. If you're not getting that advice, then change your realtor because they don't know anything then. But, that's my 2 cents in September. So I don't know if you got anything more to say, but.
No, I'm good.
Let's see.
If you like our.
That's right. Go.
Hit the like, subscribe, or drop us a comment if you'd like any information or questions answered.
And it really motivates us when we get those likes or follows to put out more content. So make sure you do it.
It does.
Have a great weekend.
Okay. You
See
too.
you.